Okay. If you told me a year ago Doctor Who would be in this situation right now, I would never believe it. But it happened. Russell T Davies is coming back to Doctor Who. God damn it! What do you say? God damn it! How can you not be excited for this?
I mean, if you're not a fan of good storytelling, then bloody, what a shame.
Oh God. Okay.
I was just like, I think so. I got the news. Two people, like, I think it was you and some other lots of other of my friends were like, "Have you seen the news? Russell T Davies is back," and I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" And like, I was going into watch a movie. I don't remember what it was. I couldn't look up the news because I was in I didn't have any Wi-Fi at the time, or anything like that. And I was like, "Is he? Is it actually?" And I was like, "What? He's not, is he?" And I was buzzing the whole time. And then, like, when I came out of the cinema, I turned my phone back on. I was like, "Is he?" And I was reading all the articles, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so happy!" I was so happy. And he does the best. He's done the best Doctor Who with some of the best Doctors.
I mean, it goes without saying.
And companions.
His era is one that really. God damn it! Sorry if anyone's listening. There's a fucking fly in my room, and
no.
Yeah, I'm sorry if it picks up in the audio. It goes without saying, though, how can you not be excited for this? This is the guy who brought Doctor Who back from the grave when it was during the wilderness years. He made 4 amazing seasons of the show, and his era is considered by many to be the top period of Doctor Who, the golden era of Doctor Who for the modern era.
The golden age.
Yeah, for the modern era, for the modern series. And, I mean, it goes without saying, for me, I love David Tennant. He's my Doctor, and my companion, my icon and companion is Donna Noble. And Series 4, I don't think every episode is... I would say it's the best in my book. I don't think every episode is 100, but I think the majority of it, the storyline, what happens with all the characters that get involved, and the ending too, I think that's a perfect season of Doctor Who. And, he left, he did his thing, good on him, I'm glad he got to do that, and do other things since then. But honestly, after the last few years of Doctor Who and how it's just gone down such stupid directions and been handled so poorly by the team, this is such a breath of fresh air to hear. I'm genuinely excited. When we did the last Doctor Who Let's Talk, I was fully expecting nothing from this era of Doctor Who. I was expecting them to choose another...
Yeah.
I don't want to say simp, but yeah, I was expecting them to do another politically correct simp or something that would just be like kissing the feet of Chibnall and saying, "Oh, this era was the best. I intend to do even better or just as good." No, I like to think again. I could be thinking through my years here. I could just be making this off the top of my head, but I'm confident that this basically confirms that even the BBC are aware that they fucked up with Doctor Who with this era, and this is their way of apologising without publicly saying it, because they're never going to say that. But god damn it, to bring back the guy who actually knew how to write well and brought the show back from the grave essentially and did some great runs with it, you can't get any better than that.
The best run, like easily the best Doctor Who run was his. And like I don't think you can even argue against that he was the best thing. He's what the show needed, and it's what the show needs again. So like he is essentially reviving it from the dead, even though like it's not dead. It's still quite popular, but it's drastically gone like down with old Doctor Who fans like just completely hate it now. But the other thing that to be like really excited about is that it's with his own. Are they a studio? What does Bad Wolf? What are they? A production studio?
I think it's a production studio, and off the top of my head, I can't think of anything they've done recently, except maybe they've done Dark Materials.
Yeah, his Dark Materials was the main thing. I'm pretty sure they've done other stuff. Like I think a lot of Russell T Davies' other work is by Bad Wolf. But they're getting I think they're producing it now. Like, it's going to be them and the BBC. So I think that's a reason to be excited, because that's his own production company. So he'll have at least 50% creative control, like complete creative control, if it's his own company. And is it Julie Gardner? Who does he work with? That must be the wrong name. But it's who was producing Doctor Who when he was producing it, or when he was making it. She's back too, which is really exciting.
The cards are all set for this to be a return to form for the show. I only have a few concerns. One of them is tied to the upcoming season, and the other one is more to do with Russell's era himself. And I'll jump forward to the first one, because it's mainly focused on Russell. It's that, from how it's worded, at least from the article they released in September, it's implied from it. They may go back and change it and reveal more, but from how it's being worded so far, it sounds like his first return period story is going to be the 60th anniversary. And that does make sense in a way. It's like a big event you have to celebrate, you have to be there to attend it, so it would make sense to debut the next showrunner, essentially. However, I'm a bit concerned for that, because if I was in those shoes, I would want to have another full season to introduce the new Doctor, introduce the new setting, the new era, but the new tone for the series, the new era, essentially, for the show in that period. I want to have that all set up before we even consider stepping into anniversary territories, where we get to focus on nostalgia, focus on a big celebratory story. And I feel like you can't, again, I could be wrong. They could work out with it. They could work with it. But I feel like it's going to be quite difficult to tell in just 2 hours, tell an anniversary movie-style story and a introduction story for Doctor Who's new incarnation and the new companions and everything else that will likely come with the new era. So that's a bit concerning in my book. What do you think about that?
I've heard like people talking about what they could do for that, and what, like, instead of it being like, ideally we'd want a season, his third Doctor, I guess it would be. The new Doctor is going to be. It would be ideal for them to have a season before the 60th, so he could do that. But because it says he's going to do 60th and then series after that, so it's probably not going to happen. What they could do is they could have a standalone episode out of the timeline, so it's not like linear. So what we see in the 60th won't be what comes after Chibnall's era. It will be maybe during, most likely it will be during Ten's era. So like a story, like maybe a multi-Doctor story that happens not in our timeline. An old one where they just bring them back. Or I've heard lots of people talking about. Well, okay. First of all, what do you think about that? What do you think? Do you reckon they could do a spit, like a standalone episode in the past?
I think in some form it could work. I think they would definitely have to tie it into the new Doctor in some form, because you can't. Again, it's the big debut of the new era. They have to do something that sets up the future. I mean, I just literally thought this off the top of my head, but I think it would be quite an interesting idea if throughout the special we're following what we think is a companion, or maybe a future companion, or just like a character who gets wrapped up in the Doctor's story, and he meets like the past 4 incarnations, the current modern Doctors, and he has an adventure with them throughout the 60th, and it could then be revealed at the end of the special that this is actually the Doctor. He was just going through this regeneration period where he forgot who he was, and his experience with his past selves made him realise, who he is, what he does, and why he does what he does. And the special could end with him going into the TARDIS, maybe choosing his chosen outfit, maybe it's the new TARDIS setting, and then cue credits and the next era. I think that could be quite interesting to do it.
Yeah, sure. There's something also similar to that is what I was going to go on to next, where it is the 60th will be the first proper episode with this new Doctor, and maybe it's a regeneration episode like Christmas Invasion or the 11th Hour, where he's going through the regeneration, but instead of it being he's asleep for most of it, or what happened in Matt's episode where, I mean, he was sort of fine from the go, wasn't he? instead of him being asleep, he goes through like mental episodes where he can see all his past selves in his head, or something like that, where it's all in the Doctor's head, and that's how we as the audience see the old Doctors in new episodes through the eyes of the new Doctor. Possibly, I'm not a massive fan of that particular theory, because I just think an episode set in the Doctor's head might not be the best place to set something. But it would be an interesting concept to see it as a regeneration story through the eyes of the new Doctor, where they, or maybe it could be similar to Twice Upon a Time, where, I mean, that might be too on the nose, not too similar, because Twice Upon a Time was about the Doctor not wanting to regenerate, and maybe this one could be about him seeing his old selves after he has regenerated to see who he'll become, or who they will become, should I say.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting aspects are there for it to be an interesting special, but I guess it really depends it boils down to, do you think they'll be able to pull it off in, I'm assuming, just 2 hours? I mean, or even just 1 hour.
Well, I mean, RTD's going to write it, so I think we should be. Optimistic.
I want to be optimistic. Maybe this is just my cynical side from the last few seasons of Doctor Who being so terrible, but I mean, I can't deny there are concerns, and it's mainly just like, for now, it seems like they're just going to they're jumping straight into the 60th. But yeah, I'm confident Russell will deliver something good, and I just hope that he has a clear idea of what he wants to do, and knowing him, I feel like he does, unlike half the other people in Hollywood. Looking at you, fucking Star Wars.
Yeah. I don't think you have to worry about it being as bad as Star Wars, though. Well, I mean, it already is. That's the thing. It already is. So that's why I think he can get better. That's the only where it can go from here.
I'm really looking forward to his return. But this is where my other concern comes in, and that's to do with the forthcoming season, Series 13. So, whatever happens with Series 13, if they don't end up retconning the Timeless Child, I'm confident whatever happens with Russell, they're not going to be able to win back the fans. They're going to lose the story. They're going to further damage the brand, in my confidence, if they don't do anything. If they do end up committing to the Timeless Child and commit it till the end. If we end up getting stuck with the Timeless Child story arc, I think it's going to be very difficult, if it does happen, for Chibnall to either work with it or try and retcon it himself. Which, if that happens, I hope he does. Because, goddamn it, I really hope he has common sense to see that, we do not tell us why he's Doctor Who. Because we don't need to. We never needed to know who he was. And, we could go a bit more into it, but I don't want to.
Maybe, I don't know if we talked about this before, but maybe Chibnall's whole plan was for him to introduce that arc where people it'd be on purpose to make it controversial, but then to wrap it up in a satisfying, interesting, thought-provoking way. I doubt it. However, I think I'm still optimistic for this series, and for them to. I think what will happen, it will be a sort of, not a retcon of the Timeless Child, but I think it will be some interesting answer. I hope, but can't. I like to be optimistic, but you can't really be too with this. I'm going in with low expectations. Let's say that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see the final product to be fully committed to what could happen. But for now, I still have concerns, obviously. But I will say this: hearing this news about Russell T Davies is such a satisfying relief. I've got a bit more hope for the future of the show that I grew up loving, and I hope that this means good for everything, because I think after so much bad content we've got from a lot of the IPs that we grew up loving, to have something like this happen, and if they was able to pull through with it and make it good again, that would be such a nice, refreshing thing to endure, to just enjoy. It'd be so great to be able to say, I love Doctor Who again.
Yeah, I hope he does more than. I hope he does at least 4 series. Like, that might be a bit much, but I hope he does quite a lot. I hope he sticks around, because I can't. I want to live in the golden age of Doctor Who again. Like when we were kids and everything was Doctor Who and it was all great and it was everywhere. That was amazing, and I'd like that to happen again as we're adults now.
I think we're never going to be able to recapture 100% the childhood feeling we had with Russell. But I feel like he can definitely bring us close, and he has the potential because he has the skill from before.
Also, he has changed as a writer, hasn't he? He's it's been 12 years since he did Doctor Who. He's I think he might have improved even. I'm not saying that today what his stuff's done now is better than Doctor Who, but like he's grown as a writer, and I'm very excited about what he'd bring to Doctor Who. And I think now that he's back again, he'll experiment more, and I hope like that pays off. But I think he'll do things before that he maybe wouldn't have done in the past. Like he says that I don't think he would ever have cast. He wouldn't have cast a woman as Doctor Who back in when he started because the audience wasn't there yet. But I think he was so ready for it to be in it, and like for Jodie to go on. I think he would. He might continue it being a woman. He might not, and either way will be fine with me. I don't really mind either way. And I just think he'll just push it, but to a really good place. Not where Chibnall pushed it. He pushed it too much. I think it'll just be fun to watch what he does with it, because if he does do experimental stuff, I'll be so happy.
Russell has the skill and the backup. He has not the evidence. He has the experience, and we know that he can do good and commit to good stories, unlike Chips. So I feel like he could, whatever they end up doing with the Doctor, casting-wise. I mean, if I had to choose the actor, I would love for it to be James McAvoy. I think he's just a great actor, and I know he has a bit of a relationship with the BBC because of Dark Materials and Bad Wolf Company. So I think he would be a perfect pick. Yeah. But again, I also do feel like, just in terms of saving face, for lack of a better word, for Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, because let's face it. We have yet to see her final season and the last three specials, but even I can say right now in this moment, and I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think she's going to be the most loved Doctor. She's definitely going to become the Colin Baker of the modern Who, where she's probably going to be fixed in source material from the books and the audio dramas in the future, because her era is just the writing's been goddamn shit. So I feel like Russell has the potential to do it justice, and if they have to end up saving face by casting another woman, again out of committee from the BBC, likely. I hate that because again that's how we got into this mess in the first place. But I do think that Russell could do something with that. But in the end of the day, if he felt like he chose right by casting, by acting, great, then that would be much better. And I just hope that this just bodes well for the future of Who, because it's in a very dark point right now, and I would believe you if you told me tomorrow it's going to be cancelled after Jodie leaves, because again it's been so bad lately. I mean, how can you market this as peak Doctor Who? Because I can't picture it at all.
No, it isn't.
But yeah, and enough about concerns and dreadness. Because honestly, I'm happy. I am very happy at this news, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what will become of the show. If things happen with the current series, I could be even more excited. I could be over the moon. But for now, I'm a bit more optimistic of the future.